Chicago, brace yourselves, because this deadline just proved that absolutely nothing is safe. Nothing. Just hours ago, one of the biggest names in the entire sport got ripped out of his uniform and shipped across the country in a trade that shook every single front office in baseball. And now, inside Wrigley Field, there is real, genuine panic. Because three names, three players who have worn this uniform through some of the best moments of the last few seasons are suddenly sitting on the outgoing side of the ledger. Not incoming. Outgoing. And by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly who they are, why their names got attached to this, and whether, with roughly 1 day left on the clock, any of them actually walk out that clubhouse door for good. Before we dive in, quick welcome to everyone pulling up this video. If you're new here, this channel is all about getting you the fastest, most honest Cubs breakdowns, no fluff, no filler. And I want to know you a little better too, so drop it in the comments right now. How long have you been a Cubs fan, and where in the world are you watching this from? I read every single one, so don't be shy. Let's build this community from the very first comment section. Okay, let's set the stage, because you need to understand just how wild the last 24 hours have been. Late Saturday night, the baseball world got completely blindsided. A two-time reigning Cy Young winner, arguably the single best pitcher on the planet, got traded. Not to Chicago, not to a scrappy underdog. To the Los Angeles Dodgers, a team already sitting on top of baseball, a team that just made itself borderline unfair. Three top prospects went the other way to make it happen. And the moment that trade landed, it sent shockwaves through every single front office still working the phones, including the one on Chicago's north side. Because now, everybody left on the market just got more expensive, more urgent, and a whole lot more desperate. So here's where the Cubs stand right now. 62 wins, 47 losses, holding on to the top wildcard spot in the National League, 5.5 games back of Milwaukee. A genuinely good season, but a season that's been absolutely hammered by pitching injuries. 30 different injured list stints, 26 of them pitchers. And with the number one arm on the entire trade board suddenly off the table, gone to Los Angeles, the front office is now scrambling harder than ever to find pitching help before Monday's 6 o'clock deadline. And when a front office starts scrambling that hard for pitching, you know what usually happens next? They start picking up the phone about their own players, their own names, their own guys. Which brings us to the three players everyone is suddenly talking about. Name number one, a steady, switch-hitting veteran behind the plate. A guy who's delivered grand slams, walk-off hits, some of the loudest moments at Wrigley over the last season and a half. His name got connected to outside teams just days ago, with insiders reporting the front office was, quote, listening on him. Largely because a young catching prospect has been absolutely raking his way up through the minor leagues, climbing all the way to AAA and forcing his way into the conversation. If that prospect is ready, the veteran behind the plate becomes expendable. That's how this business works. Name number two. And this one caught a lot of fans off guard. A well-known outfielder and designated hitter, a fan favorite, a guy who's hit 18 home runs and driven in 60 runs this season alone. His name got thrown into trade conversations completely out of nowhere, with insiders confirming that rival teams have been calling, checking in, seeing if the door was open even a crack. And name number three, a young, athletic infielder who was once considered part of this team's long-term core. But with a big free agent addition taking over his old position earlier this year, he's become something of an odd man out. Rival teams looking for young, controllable talent have specifically been asking about him in trade conversations for pitching help, meaning if a real deal comes together, he could be the centerpiece that walks out the door. Now, I want to be straight with you, because this story took a real turn in just the last few hours. As of Saturday night, according to top insiders, it is now being described as, quote, highly unlikely that the catcher and the outfielder actually get moved before Monday's deadline. The front office appears to be backing off those two names, choosing instead to keep them in the fold and focus their energy purely on adding pitching, not subtracting position players. So take a breath, Cubs fans. For those two, the panic may have been a little premature. But here's the thing you absolutely cannot ignore. That third name, the young infielder, is still very much floating out there. Teams are still asking about him. He's still viewed around the league as a realistic trade chip if it means landing a controllable arm for the rotation. And after what just happened with that Cy Young winner getting traded out of nowhere on a random Saturday night, does anybody in this league actually trust the phrase highly unlikely anymore? 24 hours ago, nobody thought the best pitcher in baseball was getting traded either. And then it happened. So where does that leave the Cubs on the pitching side now that the market's biggest fish is gone? Insiders are reporting Chicago is aggressively circling back to other names. A hard-throwing right-hander who's had a breakout year with a struggling club out west, a former all-star left-hander from the New York Mets who's had an up-and-down season but flashes real swing-and-miss stuff, and a young, controllable Angels left-hander who's quietly been one of the best-kept secrets in baseball, Sporting. Elite strikeout numbers and one of the best breaking balls in the sport over his last several outings. Reports even suggest the Cubs are looking to add not just one, but as many as 3 pitchers to their staff before this window closes. And look, this is exactly the kind of chaos that makes deadline day must-watch television if you're a Cubs fan. One era-defining domino falls in Los Angeles, and suddenly every single roster in baseball starts shifting underneath it. Prices go up, phone calls get more urgent, and players who felt completely safe on Friday are suddenly trade candidates by Saturday night. Here's my honest take on all of this. I don't think the front office wants to gut this roster. I think everything we're hearing about the catcher and the outfielder is legitimate. Those two feel safe, at least for now. But that young infielder? I wouldn't get too comfortable if I were him. If the right offer lands on Jed Hoyer's desk sometime between now and 6 o'clock Monday, offering back a genuine, controllable starting pitcher, I think this front office pulls that trigger without blinking. This team has made it very clear. They believe they're good enough to win right now, and they are not afraid to make an uncomfortable move to prove it. So here's what I want to know from you. Out of these 3 players, who would hurt the most to see traded away? The veteran catcher, the fan-favorite outfielder, or the young infielder everyone thought was part of the long-term plan? Drop your answer in the comments. And seriously, tell me how long you've been riding with this team and where you're watching from, because I want to see just how far this Cubs fan base actually reaches. If this breakdown helped you make sense of everything going on right now, do me a solid. Hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the second any of these 3 names actually gets moved. Deadline day is almost here, and trust me, you do not want to find out about the next blockbuster anywhere else first. Stay locked in, Chicago. I'll see you in the next one. Go Cubs go.